Good morning, everyone. This is Uche and Njoku, and welcome to Teacher Tech Talk. It's been a while since I did a Teacher Tech Talk video, and the purpose of these videos is to share with other educators, parents, family, anyone who's in the education space, even students, technology that can really help with remote teaching, remote learning, and how to make things so much more engaging. So this morning I'm going to share with you a couple of things that I do for my classes and also my town halls that are virtual as we are in this space until we get back to the building full time. I know it says remote ed Tech Tuesdays. I just love that intro, and I just haven't had the time or patience to recreate it and change it into Teacher Talk. So it's going to stay like that till now. So don't judge me. But it's really about the content that I'm presenting to you right now. So as you know, I am an educator in New York City. I've been educating for the past 15 years. My present role right now is I am a high school principal, but nonetheless, first and foremost, I am a teacher. So I want to share with you some of the things that I do for my classroom to make it a little bit more engaging and have my students feel that I'm putting a little bit more into the setup for them. And a lot of these things, they often ask me, like, how come yours look like this and the other teachers don't look like this? And a lot of these things, yes, it might cost a little bit of money or a little bit of investment, but I think this is some of the things that schools should be willing to do to really enhance this virtual space. And even when we get back to the building full time, a lot of these things are still going to have meaning, because now we're realizing how much of the virtual space can actually address the needs of a lot of students who might not be 100% comfortable being in the live space, or kids who might be sick, or kids who might be out of school for whatever reason. But being able to tap them back into the building virtual is going to be important. And now that we know we can do it, there's no excuses, right? So first off, what you're seeing here is my usual setup for my podcast and my other content. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of share with you what this looks like for me as an educator, as a teacher. So I'm going to go into right here. So what you're seeing now, you just notice that the logo on the screen changed from the sneaker principal logo to my school's logo plus my name, Mr. Njoku. And typically on the right side of the screen, as you're seeing it, I usually have my email address right there for my students. So if I'm at a town hall with families, or I'm talking to students in the class, my email is always there. So I can always remind, hey guys, if there's any questions or any issues, feel free to email me. And so this makes our life so much easier. And I think just having a logo on here is a nice touch. How am I able to do this? I'm using a software called Ecamm Live that allows me to use what they call scenes to create these different just little emblems and logos and just little additions to the screen. Just makes it a little bit different. And I can show you a couple of more. Like, for example, for my podcast, I use, you see that's the Sneaker Principal logo. When I do, let me find one. If I do family talk, you see the family talk logo on there. And so these things they're kind of cool. And I think if you're a teacher, educator school, you get to customize it. It just makes it seem a little bit more well thought out, right? So now, aside of that, just a little bit more about Ecamm Live. Ecamm Live is so awesome because what it does, it's like your production assistant. It allows you to create what the scene looks like, the screen looks like, before you pump it into your teaching space. Like in my scenario, I use Google Meets in conjunction with the Google Education ecosystem. So using Google Classroom and then Google Meets. And Google Meets is where my students meet with me virtually for class. And I'm going to show an example of what that looks like. Let me see if I can. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go to live demo mode, and which allows you actually to see. So it lets you see right now. What you're seeing here is the whole entire setup. This is what I'm seeing as far as my production is concerned. You can see my main screen. And these here are all my scenes that I was clicking through, so you can see the different setups. Like, for example, let me show you again. For this folder is called TSP podcast, and this is the Sneaker Principal podcast folder with all my scenes in there. So when I click on here, you can see how the logo changes for that. But then JG Law is for my high school, John Jay School for Law. So I'm going to go back to my screen here. So you can see how the logo goes back to my school logo. Now, everything that I use here, my sound effects, if I'm bringing somebody in to present an interview, I can bring them in through here. This all my audio is all set up over here to make sure everything's working well. And then other things, cool things I can do, like controlling the setup of my screens, doing green screens. A lot of things you can do in here. And here is if I go live, usually not for class, but if I do like a podcast, go live, the comments that I pump in from YouTube, Facebook, and other platforms, streaming platforms, comes up in here. I can respond to people. This is a very awesome tool. Some people might say it's overkill, but I love it because it allows me to do some very, very interesting things. So let me show you real quick what that looks like for. So right here, let me just switch this over to this. So this is what Google Meets looks like. So when I'm in class with students, this is what they're seeing. Literally, they're seeing this right here. Okay, and let me see. It's not letting me. Will it let me? Okay, but you can see that. You can see the mic, the cameras. Present now. If I wanted to present, I could click here to present. But a lot of these things I don't have to use really, because I do all. I mean, my presenting I do straight from Ecamm Live. If I'm showing a video, it's straight from Ecamm. Everything's straight from Ecamm Live. So I'm going to show you how I do that. So I'm going to close the screen. I just wanted to show you this to show you that this is what the kids are seeing. This main screen right here is what they're seeing, and this is my screen, and it allows me to see what I'm doing, right? So let me go minimize that. So I'm going to go back to my setup. So here, a couple of things that I think is very, very cool. So if you look here, go back here. So you see here, there's this tab right here. Let me see if I can move it. Okay, this tab right here, right? And what it does, it shows you my cameras, and right here is this first one here is Blackmagic Design, and what that is my I use my A10 Mini, which is a Black Design product, which happens to be my kind of like my video switcher, my camera switcher. So what does that mean? So there's sometimes I might want to switch cameras or show them something, right? Like a kid might say, "Hey, Mr. Njoku, how are you doing that right now in your office? We want to see your setup." I can hit a button right here, and this is a device right here I'm talking about. What it did, I just literally switched cameras. I went from this camera right here to this camera here. And what this camera is that you're looking at right here is this right here. My GoPro is right over my shoulder. I just literally switched to GoPro. You can see my whole entire setup right here. Okay, so you see what I'm looking at. You see my main computer here. I have a little monitor here that helps me make sure that what the kids are seeing is what I want them to see, or my audience. And then let me go back to the main camera. And that's what happens in here. I hit this button, it switches. I'm gonna do it one more time. And you see, if you notice in here, it kind of switched to what you see on the screen here. I'm gonna go back to that camera again, bam. Then the other thing too you're gonna see here is this right here is my iPad. I'm able to connect my iPad. Let me show you real quick. This iPad to my computer. It's wired in, which allows me to sorry about that. Take a quick pause. My son is waking up, so he's hooting and hollering. So if you hear anyone crying in the background, it's my baby boy, and he can be very, very loud. So, but my wife is with him right now. As I was saying, so my iPad is connected into this whole entire setup. So let's go back to that main camera again. So what you're seeing here is this button right here. When I click on it, that's my iPad. Why is this important? Because this is when I click that, my whole entire class sees. So for example, my Google Classroom lessons, I can literally just project it straight from my iPad. So I don't have to connect into, I don't have to present to Google Classroom. Everything you're seeing is straight from my screen. Downside, depending on the device, it might not be very clear, but I tell them like, hey guys, you can follow along with me on your device by going to Google Classroom, And the other thing that's cool about this, I can also then add a little bubble of my face right here. So in the meeting, they see this, and they see me going through today's lessons or whatever the case may be. And for example, I have my agenda, any documents or any materials that we use for class. And for example, I might say, hey, we're going to be watching a video today. So what I can do is I can actually click and.
However you gonna come speak, speak.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there so that I don't get punished by by the YouTube gods. So I can share with them if the content I want them to see or anything of that nature straight from the my iPad. Everything is right in here. I've had situations where I might want to do, okay, maybe I'm doing a financial literacy lesson, and I want to. Let me see if I can find something here. I want to show them, like, like for example here, talking to them about the rule of 72 in determining how fast your investments will double. I can use my pen on here, and I can literally write on the screen, and you're seeing, and I can talk to them and write on the screen. So all these things make this so much more engaging. So at no point in time do I have to be off the screen and just be a talking voice. I can literally be a talking head, showing what I'm showing them all in the same space. You can see my logo on there and everything else. Like, this is all happening. Actually, let me jump out of live mode. This is all happening live as I'm teaching my classroom. And they can talk to me. I can talk back to them. And again, I'll show you. Let me see if I can show you again what's happening in Google Classroom. And again, in the Google Classroom space, I can be like, actually. What happened here? Oh. I am doing something wrong here. Oh, I know what I did. I totally forgot to switch my camera in Google Classroom. So you have to always make sure your camera is set to the right setting. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to shift this down a little bit. So right now my video is it's not coming from Ecamm Live, it's coming from Blackmagic Design. Bam, here we go. So you also make sure you're set to the right camera, so so you're seeing what you want them to see. And and things like this happen all the time, and things like this happen all the time. But that's why I like to have like a little monitor here. And a lot of times the kids would tell me, "Hey, mister, I can't see that." And I'm like, "Oh snap! I need to turn my I need to put it onto the right camera." So as you can see right now, I'm gonna show you again. This is what the kids are seeing, and you're gonna get that weird effect in there. But the kids are seeing this, or my audience is seeing this, which is awesome. So being able to connect your iPad to your computer and use Ecamm Live as the display, as a whiteboard, is so much easier. So imagine being a math teacher, or just being in a position where you have to sorry about that. Being a math teacher and you want to be able to do the math problem on the board, you want to talk to them. I think it's so much easier for them to see your face as you're writing on the screen, and just think about it. Most of us teachers have iPads. We have the laptop. Being able to connect them two together using something like Ecamm Live is amazing. It makes your life so much easier. And then being able to have the power to just create a scene that is impactful to your students. And then you could do some cool other stuff. I want to show you something else that I did. Let me see if I can find it. I've used it once in a while. I think I've used it once in a while for class. Let me see if I can. I think this is it right here. And in class, sometimes I just ask, and all that is Jeff with a sound on here where I literally just create a thank you. Sometimes I use. And all this is simple, so easy to do. You'd be surprised how easy it is to do. But this is how I engage my students. This is how I create a space for them to really engage with me. And I know that, okay, I am presenting to them the best possible product, because again, I said this in previous videos, our job has changed as educators. We are now content creators, and it's very important as content creators that we are understanding that we need to provide a product that speaks to our students' needs. It can't just be, log on and just, do what I say. No, because they're sitting at home, but not even sitting at home. Their brains have shifted. Their brains have always been different in this digital world compared to a lot of us adults, older adults, Generation Xers and older millennials or baby boomers who grew up in a very different world. Our children grew up in a space where technology it's like their third arm, which requires us to be able to understand what engages them in that space and provide and create content in a way that they understand and give them access. Like one thing that's awesome, like you can record, you should be, I mean, most schools, districts or schools are requiring teachers to record all of their asynchronous lessons so students can go back and watch it again. You know, the thing about it, this is how a lot of us learn on YouTube. We watch a video, watch it again. For Christ's sakes, I learned how to options trade watching YouTube videos, you know, that I watched over and over again. And I feel like, okay, in the span of a week or two, I probably got as much education that somebody would probably get out of a master's program in that one particular skill set. And that is the thing about technology that we need to be able to utilize. One other thing I want to tell you is that you can also link your phone. You can connect your phone to Ecamm Live, and it will pop up as well. So if there's something you want to show on your phone, whatever the case is, like that's something that's just amazing. You can use peripheral devices. You don't have to ever again, you know, turn your camera to your whiteboard, manual whiteboard, or use something that may be kind of like you know, a little shaky because of your bandwidth. If everything's coming straight from one side to the other, it's so much easier than having intermediary platforms that sometimes might not talk to each other properly. So I just want to share this with you real quick. I didn't want this video to be super long, and I feel like it's already getting there. But yeah, I just wanted to share with you how to use Ecamm Live and to connect peripheral devices like your iPad to enhance engagement in your lessons. So with that being said, this is Mr. Njoku, or better yet, Uche Njoku. This is the Njoku School channel on YouTube, and this is Teacher Tech Talk. All right, be well.